Okay, welcome to Friday, if then 80 something couple or 90 something couples. I really should have waited for February to do this kind of thing, but I got the idea and I ran with it, and it is the holiday season, so I'm running with it. For the next couple of weeks, it's couples or groups, and these are sort of platonic, but there will be others that I'm gathering up that are romantic. Some of these are romantic, but they also qualify as platonic because they start off as platonic. But then we will get another one of these where the couples are romantically inclined. And then we are going to get some cozies in here. So be prepared for couples, duos, however I can phrase it. I have ordered quite a few of these books, and I decided not to wait and just go ahead and do pictures. Up extra early this morning due to a roofing replacing, and you can't sleep when someone's banging on your house. So anyway, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, K-R-I-N-T-A. This is K-R-I-S-T-I-N-A. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. So, our detectives for the is Sheridan Haller and Anne Markinson are our duo. And the first book in the series is Long Time Dead by T.M. Payne. When grave diggers at Bordersfield Cemetery discover a body buried above another coffin, Detective Inspector Sheridan Haller is called to investigate. The remains are identified as John Lively, the prime suspect in a 1997 shooting that left an off-duty police officer dead and a newspaper editor fighting for her life. When her trusted colleague D.S. Ann Markinson at her side and the watchful eye of DCI Max Hall on the investigation, Haller's team reopens the cold case. As they re-examine evidence and interview old witnesses, they uncover disturbing connections within the force itself. The surviving victim might hold the key if only they could understand what she's trying to tell them. So this might end up in one of the groups one too. Kathy Reichs, Deja Dead, Book 1. Temperance Brennan and Andrew Ryan. Or if you're a fan of the Bones TV series, Tempe and Booth. Her life is devoted to justice for those she never even knew. In the years since Temperance Brennan left a shaky marriage in North Carolina, work has been preempted her weekend plans to explore Quebec. When a female corpse is discovered meticulously dismembered and stashed in trash bags, Temperance detects an alarming pattern and she plunges into a harrowing search for a killer, but her investigation is about to close. Closest to her, her best friend and her own daughter may be in mortal danger. And she will soon be joined by Andrew Ryan, detective. And that could probably also go for groups later on. But mostly it's just the two of them, or her and a couple other different sidekicks. What's the group here? The group is 5. This guy gets different partners every so many books. So, we're just gonna do this year. I think it's the art person, because I started reading this one point. It's the art person, I believe, with this one. Aloysius Pendergrast. Just days before a massive expedition opens at the New York Museum of Natural History, visitors are being savagely murdered in the museum's dark hallways and secret rooms. Autopsies indicate that the killer cannot be human. Yeah, it's the partner of this book is the museum person. To help him out. Okay. And This is Dee Dee Warren and Flora Dane and sometimes Frankie Elkin and Latham. So this might also qualify as a group one in future FBI. I never said that in the beginning, did I? These are FBI couples. Or sort of FBI couples. Some of them are anyway. Well, this isn't. I guess I shouldn't have said that then. That's what happens when you get up early. And I've been planning this for weeks, too. It took weeks to research all this. You know, you spend hours. Me and search engines are just not good. That's why I'm doing these if-thens. If you're looking for a specific book, check out my if-thens first. If you're looking for homicide or vampires or werewolves or forensics or African American books or Native American books or lawyers or Cozy's cooking or Cozy's knitting. If you're looking for, there's 80 plus videos out there already. And it took me a month to gather all these up because me and search engines just don't agree, just don't talk to each other. And Goodreads, I was, as much as I love Romantic Times Book Review Magazine, I was trying to give you a little more modern stuff. And it kept shoving me back to the early 2000s. So I might as well just go with the core group from my first couple duos. Alone. Massachusetts State Trooper Bobby Dodge watches a tense hostage standoff unfold through the scope of his sniper rifle. Just across the street in wealthy Back Bay, Boston, an armed man has barricaded himself with his wife and child. The man's finger tightens on the trigger, and Dodge has only a split second to react and forever pay the consequences. This was also, and I don't remember which book, I should have looked it up, but I didn't. This is also a scene in Catherine Coulter's Savick, and we will get to that in a minute. But that is also a scene in one of their books. And, believe it or not, it's also a scene in an Anita Blake, Laurel Clay Hamilton book, too. So maybe they all used it that year. But Anita gets involved in one of those situations, too, where the guy is holding his wife hostage. And Savick gets involved in one of those situations where the guy is holding his wife hostage. Interesting. Both went 3 scenarios similar, very similar how they approached this with the sharpshooter. And they all had sharpshooters too, by the way. Alone. That's where the nightmare began for cool, beautiful, and dangerously sexy Catherine Rose Gagnon. 25 years ago, she was buried underground during a month-long nightmare of abduction and abuse. Now her husband has just been killed. Her father-in-law, the powerful Judge Gagnon, blames Catherine for his son's death and for the series of unexplained illnesses that have sent her own young son repeatedly to the hospital. See what happens there. Alright. Another popular duo. Rizzoli and Isles. Have you watched the TV show? All based on Tess Garrison. She's the cop. She's the coroner. But they also have a group of people, so they could qualify as my group cops. A killer who targets lone women, who breaks into their apartments and performs terrifying ritualistic acts of torture on them before finishing them off. His surgical skills lead police to suspect he is a physician who, instead of saving lives, takes them. But as homicide detective Thomas Moore and his partner Jane Rizzoli begin their investigation, they make a startling discovery closely linked to these killings in Kathleen Cordell, a beautiful doctor with mysterious past. Lynn Chin and Bill Smith, the first in the S.J. Rosen China trade. It's a city within a city of smells, sounds, and dark shops and close-knit families. It's a world all its own, and in all of New York's Chinatown, there was no one like P.I. Linda Ching, who has a nose for trouble, a disapproving Chinese mother, and a partner named Bill Smith, who's been living above a bar for 16 years. Risotto and Dinozo. Lisa Scottoline's accused. Mary Denoza has just been promoted to partner and is about to take on the most unusual case yet. Brought to the firm by a 13-year-old genius with a penchant for beekeeping, Allegra Gardner's sister Fiona was murdered 6 years ago, and it seems like an open and shut case. The accused, Lonnie Stahl, has been seen fleeing the scene. His blood was on Fiona, and her blood was on him. Most damningly, Lonnie Stahl pleaded guilty, but Allegra believes Lonnie is innocent and has been wrongly imprisoned. See what happens there. The Bone Collector. Who's my couples? Let's see. Did I write it down? Lincoln Rye and Amelia Sachs. Bone Collector, Book 1. Lincoln Rhyme was a brilliant criminologist, a genius in the field of forensics, until an accident left him physically and emotionally shattered. Now a diabolical killer is challenging Rhyme to a terrifying and ingenious duel of wits. With a police detective, Amelia Sachs, by his side, Rhyme must follow a labyrinth of clues that reaches back to a dark chapter in New York City's past and reach further into the darkness of the mind of a madman who won't stop until he has stripped life down to the bone. And what was Corey and Stefan are our two partners here in the Dublin squad, which may also qualify for a group. As dusk approaches a small Dublin suburbia in the woods, 1984, mothers begin to call their children home, but on this warm evening, 3 children do not return from the dusk and silent woods. When the police arrive, they find only one of the children. He is gripping a tree trunk in terror, wearing blood-filled sneakers and unable to recall a single detail of the previous hours. 20 years later, the found boy, ROBB Ryan, is a detective on the Dublin murder squad and keeps his past a secret. When a 12-year-old girl is found murdered in the same woods, he and Detective Casey Maddox, his partner and closest friend, find themselves investigating a case chillingly similar to the previous unsolved mystery. Now, with only snippets of long-buried memories to guide him, Ryan has the chance to uncover both the mystery of the case before him and that of his shadowy past. Okay. Now, another duo. Sherlock and Savick, our FBI duo. We just did all of these books for the channel. If you haven't watched them, please go watch all 27 videos plus the 6 FBI Brit series. Sherlock and Savick started as single, and by book 4 they are married, and they stay married for the rest of the series. So they bring in some other partners. They work in groups sometimes, so they may qualify as a group 1 if I need a filler. But this is the beginning. And it's funny though, because Savick is an extra in the first book. He doesn't become the primary till the second book. But the Cove is a quaint little postcard town made up only of old folk who sell the world's greatest ice cream, a secret recipe that brings them lots of tourists. Into the Cove calls Sari Brainerd, daughter of murdered Amory St. John of Washington, D.C., seeking sanctuary, and FBI agent James Quinlan, who's undercover, and he's after her. He's got a murder to solve, and he believes she's the key, but is she really? And then, of course, Quinlan brings in Savick with his computers. This is the very beginning of computers. I don't even think Max was invented yet. And they get going from there. And then, of course, like I said, Savick becomes the main player in book 2 and 3 and so on. And Quinlan takes a backseat. Now, my final author will also appear in groups because she does at some point work in groups. She does at some point work with multiple partners. Eve Dallas is a lieutenant with the New York City Police and Security Department and will be in my New York City Police and Security Department if then. Well, not security, but she's a lieutenant, and her sometimes partner is her husband Rourke. and after book 3, her aide Peabody is her partner for so many books until she becomes officially her partner. But this is where it all starts. And if you would please tune in with me starting in December, we will read this book and we will talk about the characters. I read these in 2023 for the series. I did the entire series and Janet Ivanovich at the same time. I did both my comfort series at the same time. So I didn't do them for 2024, and it got to the point in 2025, well, I just needed my comfort books, and I needed to figure out a way to share my comfort books with you again and talk about them, because I wasn't going to read a book without sharing it with you. So we are not discussing the plot lines. We are discussing the characters. We are reading my favorite character quotes, my favorite characters, sections from each book, conversations from each book. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. So please tune in every single Saturday. For all of next year, there are over 60 books. And don't forget to tune in for my review of the latest book, probably January. I'm going to try and put the newest one under the tree. I don't think it's going to make it. So you might see the review in December. But I'm trying to store up all the purchases from September, October, November, December to put under the Christmas tree, to have a huge pile of books under the Christmas tree. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to try. I might sneak a few, so you might see those reviews sooner than January. And you might see an abundance of brand new books in January, too. We'll see what happens. But just to read this, New York Police Lieutenant Eve Dallas is hunting for a ruthless killer. In more than 10 years on the force, she's seen it all, and she knows that her survival depends on her instincts. Still, she's going against every warning telling her not to get involved with Rourke, an Irish billionaire and a suspect in Eve's murder case. And they meet the DeBlasses, and the DeBlasses will show up in future books too. But your core cast in the Fierce Boot books is Eve, Rourke, Somerset, Galahad, Whitney is her boss, Mira is the department shrink, Nadine is the reporter from Channel 75, and Mavis. And then in book 2, 3, we get Peabody and McNabb and Feeney. I think Feeney's in this one. Her former mentor, and he's the captain of EDD now. We get our cruise, so please join me every single Saturday in 2026 to discuss my favorite books in the whole wide world. And don't forget the unboxings on Sunday. Those are cool too. You never know what's going to be in those boxes. I know people do unboxing on the internet. They know what's in those boxes. They either ordered it or someone sent them as a gift from their wish list. So it's something they want. These are not books that I necessarily want. They're given to me, and I divide them up and divvy them out to different charities in town. But it's always interesting to see what's in the boxes. So you have a good one.